welcome Sadie McBride.
Gold medals aren't really made of gold. They are made of sweat, determination, and a hard-to-find alloy called guts. This comment was made by someone who knew a lot about gold medals. Dan Gable was a famous wrestler and wrestling coach who won 2 Olympic gold medals in 1971 and 1972 for the United States. As a wrestling coach for the University of Iowa, he led the Hawkeyes to 16 NCAA team titles. In fact, on October 25th this year, his successes were recognized as Iowa celebrated Dan Gable Day. When trying to come up with a topic for my TED Talk, I thought I would talk about the importance of determination and persistence in achieving our goals. I also wanted to talk about the importance and even benefits of sometimes failing, as that may also help us to move forward. I thought I would start us off with a personal example. As some of you may know, I have an older brother named Sky, who is a sophomore in the upper school. When Sky was 6 years old and I had just turned 4, he got a little Honda dirt bike for Christmas. I asked my parents if I could take a turn riding his dirt bike, but was told that I wouldn't be able to try until I first learned how to ride a regular bicycle. My parents were always sticklers for these little details. With this in mind, without paying much attention to the rest of my cousins, I ran to the driveway for a crash course, literally, in riding a bicycle. At the young age of 4, I wasn't very coordinated, but I was very determined. Like most kids who learn to ride a bicycle, I would coast for a few yards and then stop, losing confidence. I would coast for a few yards and then stop, losing confidence. At the young age of 4, I wasn't very coordinated, but I was very determined. Like most kids who will learn to ride a bicycle, I would coast for a few yards and then lose confidence, placing my feet back on the secure ground. There were a few falls and more than a few scrapes. However, to everyone's surprise, including mine, I taught myself how to ride a bicycle in a 2-hour time span on that Christmas day. It wasn't long after that I was riding a dirt bike alongside my older brother. I had a goal in mind, I worked towards that goal, and I achieved that goal. While not an Olympic gold medal, it was the equivalent of an Olympic gold medal to me. In Northern Virginia, we live in a very competitive environment. Whether it is related to sports, school, music, or work, I think everyone feels the constant pressure to always be perfect. My older brother is just now starting to look at which colleges he is going to apply to. When looking at some of the most competitive schools, we are told that the average grade point average is close to a 4.0. When you think about it, that means that the average student has an almost perfect GPA. No pressure, right? This is a reflection of the area we live in and just one of the examples of the expectations for perfection that we may face. Ralph Heath is an author who wrote a book about this topic called Celebrating Failure, the power of taking risks, making mistakes, and thinking big. According to Mr. Heath, failure and defeat are life's greatest teachers. Most people don't want to go there, however, because failing is not very comfortable. It is much more comfortable to play it safe, fly below the radar, and repeat the same safe choices over and over again. If we make no waves or attract no attention, no one will yell at us, or worse yet, be disappointed in us for failing. The problem is, this kind of thinking is limiting. If we don't try anything that would make us possibly fail, we are also not trying anything great which we could potentially succeed. Has anyone ever heard of a company called Traco Data? I hadn't. This was the first company that Bill Gates started after he dropped out of Harvard. If I was accepted into Harvard, I can only imagine my parents and family's reaction if I suddenly announced that I was going to drop out to try to start a new company. You usually associate quitting something as a negative thing. Bill Gates, though, had vision. He had determination. He believed in himself. He tried several more times and eventually developed Microsoft, one of the most successful companies of all time. This example really illustrates that some achievements require the courage to do something that most people would think is crazy, or at least ill-advised. I couldn't find any more information on this, but I would bet that Bill Gates' family and friends tried to talk him out of leaving Harvard. You may also be familiar with the story of a certain newspaper editor. This editor was fired from his job because he, and I quote, lacked imagination and had no good ideas. His name was Walt Disney, and he definitely rebounded okay. Thomas Edison was having problems when he was trying to develop the light bulb. At one point, a young reporter asked him if he felt like a failure and if he would ever give up. Edison responded, "Young man, why would I feel like a failure, and why would I ever give up? I now know over 9,000 ways that an electric light bulb will not work." Success is almost in my grasp. Shortly after that, with over 10,000 attempts, Edison succeeded in inventing the light bulb. One of Edison's teachers was quoted as saying that Edison was too stupid to learn anything. I wonder if this motivated him as he worked to develop all of his inventions and 1,093 other ideas. For the basketball fans out there, I found a quote from Michael Jordan, one of the most successful players of all time, that fit into this topic. He said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. That is why I succeed." If you're ever having a bad day or feel like you have failed and need a pick-me-up, I would recommend you Google 50 successful people who failed at first. You'll be amazed at those who started off rough but did something amazing through dedication and persistence. It may be terrible to say, but I hope everyone here goes out and fails at something today. That means that everyone sets a high goal and takes a chance to achieve it. In preparing for this talk today, I practiced it and hoped it was perfect. But even if it wasn't, if I had tripped up or stumbled a few times, I hope you agree that that is okay. If so, then I achieved my goal. Thank you.